I used to spend 3 hours every day writing follow-up emails to prospects, and honestly, most of them were terrible. But what if I told you that you could save 3 hours and have better, more personalized emails that actually convert? Well, I built an AI system that does all of that automatically, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to build it yourself. Let's dive in. So we're going to assume that we're a marketing company. We're constantly having initial calls with potential clients, and now we're at the step where we've already sent them the proposal, and now we just need to follow up to book them for that all-important closing call. Now here's the thing, personalization is absolutely critical. Generic emails get ignored, but writing a personalized email for every single prospect, that's extremely time consuming. I can literally spend 3 hours just trying to figure out what to say. So let's find a way to automate this process. The first thing we need to do is we need to set up our data foundation. I'm gonna start by connecting to Google Sheets because, let's be honest, it's a decent free way to track our prospects, but it's far from the best way. So we're gonna create a workflow, and I'm gonna add in Google Sheets. We're gonna use the on added row, and then we just need to make sure that we are connected to our account, which I've already authenticated. And now I'm gonna select client list, which is my Google Sheet, and client contacts, which is, yes, this is the right one. Perfect, so we will choose this one. So this is gonna be our trigger. Every time we add a new prospect to our sheet, this workflow will automatically kick off. Now here's something most people get wrong. When they're trying to build systems, a lot of people do it without testing. So what we actually need to do is we're gonna go to ChatGPT and ask it to create some realistic prospects for us. So I'm gonna give ChatGPT this prompt. There are really a few key things. We want a client name, fake email address, and then we also want a note that we had a good initial conversation, and then some notes on some pain points and business challenges, and also some objections. Okay, so here's the list that it generated. This looks pretty good. We've got James, we got Sarah, we got Laura. Looks like Sarah's running a boutique skincare brand. It's growing organically, but it kind of plateaued. Looks like she's struggling to increase her traffic beyond Instagram and wants to expand into email and paid ads. There is an objection. She's worried an agency won't understand her brand's voice. So that's a good one. Perfect. I'm just going to copy Sarah's information and we're going to put it into our Google spreadsheet so we can start getting the process rolling. Now I'm going to go back to N8N and test our connection just to make sure that it's pulling in the information. So let's go here. We'll say fetch. Perfect. And we can see Sarah, her email, as well as the meeting notes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this data just so that way we don't have to constantly rerun it while we build out the rest of our flow. Now comes the exciting part, building our first AI agent. I'm gonna add an AI agent node. Let's look at AI agent. And you can see on the left-hand side that the inputs are the outputs from the last node. We can see all of Sarah's information right here. Now with this node, we need to select the actual model that we're gonna use. So we're gonna go down here and we're gonna look for OpenAI chat model. Now, if you don't have an OpenAI account now, you're gonna need to set that up and then add some credits. We're also gonna select our model now, and I'm gonna go to the 4.0 model. Let's see here, 4.0, and that looks like we're good there. Now back in the AI agent, here's where things get interesting. Under tools, I'm not gonna add anything for this particular workflow, but this is where the real power of N8N shines. You can connect this to your CRM, your calendar, your project management tools, or you can even search the internet for real-time information about your prospect that you can use in your emails. The possibilities are endless. Okay, so for this agent, I'm gonna configure this to say define below. Now I'm gonna set this to require a specific output format. This is critical because we want our AI agent to be in a structured format so that way we can use the information in our emails. So now that I've selected this, I'm gonna click output parser, and we're gonna select structured output. Now the only thing I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna need to change the example that it's using right now so it can fit our use case. So I'm gonna paste this here. We're gonna want everything to be formatted in name, email, subject, message. That's basically it. So we're just giving it an example of how we expect the data to look. Now here's the thing, coming up with the perfect agent prompt can be a little bit tricky. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna use ChatGPT to help us to create this prompt. So let's go over to ChatGPT and we're gonna use this prompt here. So we're gonna ask it to create an AI agent that is an expert in sales and marketing, and it has to be able to read 3 fields: the name, the email, and the meeting notes. It's then going to use these meeting notes to create a personalized email, which is going to be part of a 3 email sequence. We specifically let it know that this is the first email in the sequence. Now, we also are going to give it the goal of the email. The goal is to get the client to be interested in reading the second email. So we're not trying to do a hard sell right away. We're trying to create a personalized experience and bring a prospect through our funnel. The last item is we have to output the information in our standard JSON format. So we're going to have name, email, subject, as well as the message. So let's create this. So now that we have our prompt from ChatGPT, we're going to actually add it into the AI agent to create the actual agent. So to do that, we have to add a system prompt. Let's click expression and we're going to make it bigger, and we're going to paste in the prompt that we actually received. Now here's a pro tip. If you already have examples of some sales emails that you know have worked well for your business, you could actually include those in this prompt. This would help to train the AI to replicate your best sales techniques, and it would actually write in that specific style. In this case, we don't have that, so we're just going to create the agent like this. Now the last step is we actually have to send the data to the model so that way it can create our customized email. So what we're going to do is we're going to just click here. It's looking for a name, email, and meeting notes. And we'll drag this, drag the email, and drag the meeting notes. Perfect. Okay, and now let's test the step. Okay, let's take a look here. So it says exploring new horizons for your skincare brand. So it recognized that it's a skincare brand. It was a pleasure discussing our journey. Understand the challenges you are facing with expanding traffic and how important it is to maintain your brand's voice. See, it's incorporating some of the concerns that Sarah had. Their collaborative approaches to help maintain authenticity across platforms. Stay tuned for my next email where I'll share some insights on aligning the brand voice with the external partner. So this is excellent. So it actually created a customized email using our meeting notes. This is great. Last step is we're just going to pin the data here because we're just testing the flow. And now we need a way to send this to, let's create a draft. So we're going to use Gmail, and I'm going to use create a draft. And now for the subject, we're simply going to drag the subject there. For the message, we're going to grab the message here. We also need to add the to information, which is here. Now, I've already connected my account to Gmail, so all you'd have to do if you haven't connected it is you'd click create new credential and then just sign in. But we're already good to go, so let's give this a test and let's see if it generates the email. So it looks like it was successful. Let's check the email, and here we go. Perfect. Awesome. So now AI has created a completely personalized email based on the meeting notes. It referenced the specific pain points that were discussed in the call, and it even wrote in a conversational, professional tone. So now here's where the psychology gets interesting. The first email isn't about trying to sell anything. Its only job is to get our prospect excited about what's in the second email. And that's why we've guided our AI agent to phrase it so that way our prospect is expecting something special in the next email. So now I'm duplicating the entire section for our second email, but this time I need to update our prompt because the email needs to reference the previous email. So let's duplicate this first, bring it up here. So for the second email, we're going to use this prompt. It's basically the same prompt, but we're referencing a new field, which is the last email. So that way it can take some information from the last email to personalize this next email. And we're also going to let it know that this is the second email in a 3-email sequence. So AI knows that it needs to guide closer towards the call. So we're going to create this now. Perfect. I'm going to update our system prompt with this new instruction. We need to make sure that our node is connected. Now, if you look at the inputs for this node, you'll see that it just has the reference ID for the email that was sent. What we can actually do is we can go further back. We can go back to the last node or the node before that. Any node that is connected in the sequence, you still have access to that information. So we're just going to update our user prompts. Last email, which would be this one. And then let's update the name, update the email, and we still need the meeting notes. We'll update that. Perfect. We don't need to change anything else yet. Let's execute this step. Perfect. So it's generated the text, and we're going to make sure that it's connected to the email step, and we don't need to change anything here. So we'll just click execute, and let's see if it drafted the new email. And this is it here. Let's take a look at the second email. Right, so now the second email is building on the first email, providing value and still creating an anticipation for the third email. It's starting to hint at working together, but it's not being too pushy about it, which is perfect. Now for the third and final email, this is where we're going to go for the actual close. So now that we know that this is working, we're going to just repeat the process. We're going to duplicate this again. We'll connect our node. So now for the system prompt here, we need this one to not only look at the last email, but we need it to also look at the first email and the meeting note. So that way the message is consistent. So to do that, we're going to go back to ChatGPT and we're going to give it this prompt. It's the exact same prompt, except now we've added a fifth field. We're name, email, meeting notes, first email, last email, and then we let it know that this is the last email in the email sequence, and this is the one where we want them to ask us to book a call with us. So we'll create this, and let's update the system prompt again. Let's go here. We'll delete everything here. That's updated. We also need to update this to include the first email. So we'll just fix this now. So this AI agent has our last email and this AI agent has our first. Perfect. Okay. And then we're going to hit execute step, see if it worked. Perfect. And then the last step is to just check if it can generate an email. Everything here is still okay. Perfect. And let's see if we got the third email. Let's finalize your growth strategy. Let's see here. Okay, this is really good. The third email is much more direct. It references everything that we've been discussing. It creates a sense of urgency and it's giving a clear call to action to move forward with booking a call. So now this is great and all, but there's one crucial thing that we still need to fix. Timing. You can't send all 3 emails at once. It would definitely look like it was an automated email. We need some time in between each of the emails. So let's go back to N8N and we're going to add in a node which can do this, and it's called wait. So we'll add a node in here. Now we can select any amount of time that we want. I'll just put 5 seconds for now, but you can put it days if you need to. And we will add another node after it sends this email here, and then another one right here. So now we've added 3 wait nodes. Now I just put them for a few seconds just because I still want it to work. But typically, your first node might be like a couple days, then maybe 3 days would be the second one, and then maybe an additional 2 days. This will actually give your prospects some time to digest each email without feeling overwhelmed, and it feels a lot more natural. So now that we have everything connected, we got to test out the workflow. Let's go back to ChatGPT and we're going to grab somebody else's email. Let's grab the second person. And let's add them to the Google Sheet. And let's delete this and let's add the third person. Let's do this one. All right, so we have 2 new people in our spreadsheet. Now we're gonna go back to our workflow. We need to make sure that we unpin the data just so that way we're getting a fresh result, and we're gonna unpin this here. Okay, so now we're gonna hit execute workflow to test the workflow and just see if it works. So now N8N is going to go through each of the processes. It's going to generate the email, then it's going to wait, and then it's going to actually send the email. Let's take a look at what we've got. We've got emails for both individuals, personalized emails. Look at this. That's amazing. We've got a complete personalized email sequence that's been generated by AI. Now these emails are based on real meeting notes that we've had. On top of that, each email builds on the previous email, and the whole sequence is designed to get our prospects from interest to action. Now, this is just the beginning. Here are some ways that we could actually take this even further. First, you could train AI on your most successful emails. If you've got emails that have already converted really well in the past, you can include those as examples in your prompts. This would make AI write in your specific style and use your proven techniques. The second thing you could do is you can customize this for different industries. Now, the third thing you could do is you could connect this directly to your CRM so that way it automatically updates their status, triggers your sales team to follow up. We could have actually, instead of using Google Sheets, we could have replaced that with your CRM. So every time you had a new prospect put into your CRM, we could automatically generate these personalized email sequences for your prospects. The possibilities are honestly endless. Here's the thing. This isn't just about saving time. Although that's obviously a massive benefit, this is about consistency. Every single prospect now gets a perfectly crafted, personalized follow-up sequence. No more forgetting to follow up, no more generic emails, no more missed opportunities. Now, this system is powerful, but we're really only getting started. So if you found this video helpful, you're gonna wanna watch this one right here.